Hi, this is Ann Angela Webb, the Animal Intuitive, and this is the Animal Intuitive channel where we give animals a voice through animal communication, natural pet care, and interviews with experts in the fields of animal care and advocacy. In today's episode, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how to choose an animal communicator for you and your pet.
Come on, all you doggies, won't you walk with me? I'm the puppet dog.
The first tip I have for you begins with going to their website, which is, of course, the first thing most people would do. Make sure, if it is important to you, that that animal communicator can come to your home or that you can meet with them in person, that they are local to you. Not all animal communicators will go to the home, and of course, if they do, you want them to be local to you. So I can tell you, though, to not necessarily rule out an animal communicator because they aren't local to you. I have clients internationally, as far away as India, and students in Singapore. So please don't rule that out, because when you're doing animal communication, you're tuning in telepathically to understand what that animal is thinking and feeling. So you don't need to be in person. You don't need to be observing the animal. That's not what you're supposed to be doing to get information. And it's just as good to be at a distance when you're doing animal communication. The second thing I would do on that website, read up a little bit on that animal communicator and just get a sense of who they are, where they come from, what their beliefs are. And another thing you're going to probably want to check out on their website is to see if they adhere to the Animal Communication Code of Ethics, which was developed by Penelope Smith. So the Code of Ethics is important to animal communicators because it gives you that foundation, that basis of how you're supposed to work as a professional animal communicator. Sometimes an animal communicator will have the whole code of ethics listed on their website or perhaps a link to it, but it's nice if you see that there. So the second tip I have for you is to look into their experience, and possibly their training may be on their website. But the experience, now, this might talk about how many years they've been a professional animal communicator. So for me personally, I grew up doing animal communication, but not understanding that I was doing it. And then I took a class as an adult and it clicked and I gave a name to it. But I've been a professional animal communicator for over 14 years. Now, does it matter how many years a person has been a professional animal communicator? Not necessarily. You may find that somebody is great at what they do. When I started out as a professional animal communicator, I was new at being a professional, and I still got great reviews and testimonials and word of mouth reviews. So don't necessarily rule that out because of their experience, but that might mean something to you personally. And they may or may not have that information about their training and experience. If that kind of thing is important to you, you could just ask them. But I find that that's kind of a secondary thing to find out exactly how a person was trained or who they trained under, especially if you don't really even know who the person who trained them is. So that may not mean that much to you. The third key point is reputation. You might find an animal communicator just by asking other pet people, pet parents, who, if they've ever been to an animal communicator. That's, of course, a great way, word of mouth. Also, you could call your local veterinarian. You might want to start with a holistic veterinarian if your personal vet doesn't have any referrals to animal communicators. You might find that holistic veterinarians may be more open to animal communication, so you may want to start there. And of course, there's reviews, perhaps on Google. You might have some reviews, or on the person's Facebook page. But most importantly, on their website, you're going to have reviews as a testimonial page. So that should be there. There should be a list of testimonials from former clients or current clients who have worked with that individual. Hopefully in those testimonials, you're going to see some results that the person explains that came out of the communication, information that shows that the communicator really did have an effect on the situation. The fourth tip I have is to check out if they have any additional training or experience. For example, I am someone who is nationally board certified in animal acupressure and massage. I was trained in Reiki, however, I formulated my own form of energy work that I practice with. I'm an essential oils educator. Nutrition is important to me. I think that's one of the biggest factors in an animal's health and behavior. So that's something that I try to keep up on and research and talk about. I'm an animal communication teacher. I teach classes in animal communication at a distance and in person. And I happen to be a licensed clinical social worker. And why that would matter is that it gave me a certain background and experience and training in working directly one-on-one with people. And while I'm not doing any sort of professional counseling when I'm talking with a person about their animal or doing animal communication, it does influence my level, perhaps, of professionalism and compassion and understanding and listening skills. So, if there's something that resonates with you that a person has additional training in, this may factor into how, perhaps like myself, I would be consulting with you about some of these things. So, keep that in mind. The fifth and final tip, once you've taken into account all of these factors, go with your gut. Remember that an animal communicator is somebody that you're going to be working personally with. You're going to be talking about your personal relationship with your animal family member, and you're going to be sharing with them, so that you want this person to be somebody that you feel you can trust, somebody that you can relate to. So you really do need to go with your intuition on this. And of course, if you do end up meeting with them in person, you want to see how your pet responds. But this video is about how to decide who to choose before you actually meet with them. I do hope this has helped. Please let me know below. And if you want to ask me questions, and I will be sure to get back to you. If you want to reach me, please go to my website at intuitivetouchanimalcare.com. You can also contact me by email at ann@intuitivetouchanimalcare.com.
Rub my belly, rub my belly, rub my belly, my belly.